Okay, so today we're in section 3.1. We're starting parallel lines and transversals. Today, out of all days, I actually had a lot before this video started, didn't we? Okay, so we talked about our three types of angle relationships. Can y'all say them with me? Adjacent, vertical, and corresponding angles. Okay, so those three types of angles. We're going to use those relationships to find unknown angle measurements. Okay, so that's real important. All right, so one thing we need to understand is how are these angles even possible? All right, so look over here on this little diagram. We see the parallel lines, but then notice that there's a line that intersects them. That's what we call the transversal, and when that happens, all of these little angles pop up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And guys, it's always 8. Okay? Now, there could be 3 parallel lines, and then there would be more. But usually, you're only going to see 2. All right? And then the transversal forms several pairs of congruent angles. And that's what we're going to see in example 1. In example 1, we are given an angle measure, 110 degrees. And all it's going to say is find the measure of angle 1 and 2. And guess what? You're not going to measure anything. You're just going to look for an angle relationship. You paying attention? Look up here. Okay? You're going to look for an angle relationship. Maybe is 1 or 2 maybe adjacent, vertical, or corresponding to 110. Does anybody see possibly? Michael? 1 is what? Yes. Do you see how 110 is in the bottom left section? And 1 is also in the bottom left section. And what do we know about corresponding angles? They are about their measurements. They're the same measurement. Okay? So what I'm going to say is angle 1 is 110 degrees because it corresponds, and you can abbreviate, with the given angle measure, which is 110. Okay? Now, what about angle 2? Can anybody raise your hand and tell me what would be the measure of angle 2 and why? And why? It's going to be one of my 3 angle relationships. Okay? So look at angles 1 and 2. All right? Look at angles 1 and 2. What kind of relationship does that look like, Kyla?
Adjacent.
Yes, they're adjacent, and here's why. Just as a reminder, they share a common side, right? And they're on the same side, and they share the common point. So what do we know about adjacent angles and their measurements? Not adjacent. Adjacent angle measures add up to what?
180.
180. So if I know that angle 1 is 110, what would angle 2 be? Yes, 70. And here's why. 70 because it's adjacent, and we can say ADJ for adjacent to angle 1. You need to have the Y. So on the quiz and the test, if you get the measurement, that's half credit. But in order to get full credit, you have to connect it to some other angle. Okay? All right, I want you to do the practice ones. Go ahead and do the practice ones. Just find the measure of angles 1 and 2. And again, I'm using my 3 angle relationships. Adjacent, corresponding, and vertical. Addison, what did you find for angle 1? 63. And why was that? Yes, it corresponds with the given angle measure 63 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to know. As soon as you say corresponds, I'm going to know that that's what you recognized. Did you guys get that? That it was corresponding? Mickey, did you get that? All right, Michael? Michael, what about angle 2? Not yet. Anybody have angle 2 yet? Trey, Maddox, do either one of you have it?
117 degrees.
Yes, very good. 117 degrees. Why?
That's adjacent when,
Perfect. With 1, right? Yep, adjacent to angle 1. All right, very good. So now in example 2, we're really just going to open this up, kind of like what we did before the PowerPoint on the board. And we're going to find all of these angle measures. And here's my hope. After example 2, I really hope that you can see how they all connect together. All right, and how there really could be different reasons for each angle measurement. So here's kind of our starting point, okay? Our starting point is the 75 degrees. However, putting everything on the table, all right, all of our angle relationships, there are actually multiple angle measurements that I can figure out just knowing this one, right? I can measure some adjacent ones, some vertical ones. So Kyla might start off and she might say, oh, I know the measure of angle 1. And Darcy might say, oh, if I know 75, I also know the measure of angle 6. So your starting points might be different angles, okay? And that's okay. You're all going to end up in the same place. Let's just start with angle 1. Given 75 degrees, what is the measure of angle 1? Trey, what's the measure of angle 1? Not 1. Look how it's opposite the 75. Okay, so Isabel? It's 75. Why? Yes, very good. 75 because it's vertical to 75 degrees. Okay, very good. Now that I know angle 1, could I, and I guess I can fill it in over here too, could I figure out angle 3? Woo. Okay. So, Trey, how would I do angle 3? That goes back to what you were just saying. Yes, very good. Because what kind of angles are 1 and 3? They're adjacent. Very good. Okay, so how did he come up with 105, guys? What did he do? He subtracted from 180. So angle 3 is 105 because it's adjacent, and we can abbreviate ADJ, to angle 1. All right. Now let's go back up to angle 2. What's the measure of angle 2, Mickey? Okay. Kyla, what's the measure of angle 2?
105.
Very good. It's 105. Why?
Because it's corresponding to 3.
Not corresponding.
Well, it's adjacent to...
No. Okay, you can say adjacent.
Okay,
To which one?
To 1.
Yes, okay. She said 105 because it's adjacent to 1. That's acceptable to angle 1. Why else? Darcy? Yes, it's vertical to 3. Okay, 105. So now I have all 4 of these, but how am I going to get to 4, 5, 6, and 7? There's nothing over there. Yes, corresponding. Literally pick it. Okay, it doesn't even matter which one. Okay. Oh, I got to fill in. Oh yeah. Okay, so angle 4. Let's start with angle 4. Which angle corresponds with 4? 1. And so what's the measure of angle 4? 75. And then I would say CORR corresponds to angle 1. Okay. And guys, are you picking up on kind of some of the patterns here? There's only 2 values. It's either 75 or 105. All right. And the angle relationships help me figure out which one it is. All right. So angle 4 is going to be 75. I'm going to kind of write over it because I'm kind of out of room. So what's angle 6 going to be?
2. Oh, 75.
Yep, 75. Why?
Because it corresponds with the other side.
Yep, 75 here corresponds with the other 75. It's also vertical to angle 4, right? It's vertical to angle 4. All right, what about angle 5? What's the measure of angle 5? Isabel? 105. And so what's angle 7? 105 also. Okay. And 7 corresponds with which angle?
3.
3, and it's the same. 7 is adjacent to what angle?
6.
6 adds up to 180, and 4 adds up to 180, and it's vertical to what angle? 5, and guess what? They're the same. So do you see, guys, how they all work together? Do you see that? Are you understanding that? Okay. All right, so I need to teach you 2 other angle relationships. And on a quiz or a test, I'm going to say, tell me the relationship between, let's say, angles 2 and 7. Angles 2 and 7. Can someone, actually, you're walking in, Miss Forepaw. Flip my light switches off so we can see the color a little better. Okay, so on how do I know which one is interior and which one is exterior? I look at my parallel lines. You see the parallel lines here running across? Okay? If the angles are on the inside, you see how these are on the inside of the parallel lines? We call them interior angles. Okay? Well, the word alternate means to switch. So what is switching? The angles are switching to the other side of the transversal. So do you see how 3 is on the left side of the transversal? The alternate interior angle is on the other side, 6. All right, so I want you to list that. Okay, we're going to say alternate interior. You can kind of just put an arrow. These are alternate interior. Angle 3 and angle 6. And what my rule says is they have the exact same measurement. So I can use that angle relationship to find their measurement. What's the other pair of alternate interior angles, Kyla? 4 and 5. Very good. They're switching sides, 4 and 5. Okay, angle 4 and angle 5. All right, what about alternate exterior? So now we are focusing on the angles on the outside of the parallel line. So that would be 1 and 2 and 7 and 8. And again, I'm focusing on opposite sides of the transversal. So if I start off in the top left, I need to cross over and pick the bottom right one. Do you see how it's on the other side, but they're both exterior? So 1 and 8 would be alternate exterior. Say, why does this matter? Well, if I knew the measurement of angle 1 and I had to go straight to the measurement of angle 8, I had no other information, I would have to know that they are the exact same measurement. So let's go ahead and give it a value. All right, let me erase my little arrows there. What if angle 1 was 95 degrees? And you can write that in. And I say, you have to go straight to angle 8. Give me the measurement for angle 8. It would be 95 degrees because they are alternate exterior angles. All right, you see that? Now, how do 5 and 8 relate to each other? Does anybody know? Starts with a V. They're vertical. So if angle 8 is 95, what's the measurement of angle 5? 95. Now let's say you have to go straight from angle 5 to angle 4. What did we say? They're alternate interior. Didn't we say that? And they have the same measure. So it's also 95. What if we had to go straight to angle 2 now, from 4 to 2? What kind of angles are 4 and 2? They're adjacent. So what could I do to find their measurement?
Subtract 180.
Yes, subtract from 180 and you get 85 degrees. What if you had to go straight from angle 2 all the way down here to angle 7? Because they're alternate exterior angles, it's 85 degrees. But look, guys, it also makes the adjacent pair true, right? 85 and 95, and 85 and 95. So what would be the measure of angle 6?
85.
85 degrees. And its alternate interior angle is also what?
85.
85, but look what also is true. The vertical angles are equal. Okay? So do you see how alternate interior and exterior can fit into the other ones that I've already learned? So you say, well, why? That kind of seems like, pointless. Why can't I just use the other three? If I specifically ask you, and this is how it'll look on a quiz, what is the relationship between 1 and 8? 1 and 8 are not corresponding. 1 and 8 are not vertical. They are alternate exterior. Okay, so that's where it would only be that relationship, if that makes sense. All right, Kyla?
So like on a quiz, could you just put like exterior, or do you have to put alternate exterior?
So there's something called, and this is geometry. You'll learn this in geometry. Same side exterior, and then there's alternate exterior. Same side interior. So same side and alternate side is different. So yes, you would need to say alternate, because when you say alternate, it means it's going to the other side of the transversal. Okay, that's a great question. Great question. I might take off like a point. It's nothing major. All right, good job. I guess I didn't list the other pair of alternate exterior, 2 and 7. I mean, we established that, but all right. So that's interior and exterior angles. Now we just have one last example. Okay. There is an example 4, but we're not going to cover that today. We just don't have time. So in example 3, we have this street road intersection here. All right, and this is what I was talking about before. All right, they give me these angles here in the picture, and that's on your notes also. I know it's kind of dark on your notes. And they're just going to say, okay, between angle 3 and 6, which one of the 5? So all 5 relationships are on the table now as options. We have adjacent as an option, vertical, corresponding, alternate interior, and alternate exterior. So between angle 3, which is right here, I don't know if you can see me circling that, and angle 6, okay, what relationship do they have with each other? Notice where my vertical, my parallel lines are. Notice my parallel lines. Maybe I can change this highlight. My parallel lines are here. That's significant. Okay. Isabel, do you think you know? Okay. Well, what was that word?
Alternate.
Yes, alternate exterior. Do you see how they are both on the outside of the parallel lines? But notice where my transversal is. It's cutting through the middle, and 3 and 6 are on opposite sides of it. So yes, they are alternate exterior, okay, and we can abbreviate angles, alternate exterior. So what about 2 and 7? What about 2 and 7? What do you think, Kyla?
Alternate interior?
Yes, alternate interior. I can tell you're really getting this one today. That makes me happy. All right, alternate interior. Good job. Okay, so based on these angle relationships, I'm going to give you a measurement for angle 4. Angle 4 is 84 degrees. And guys, there can definitely be more than one reason, okay, how you got your measurement. But I want you to find 3, 5, and 6 and tell me why. Okay, so the why, you tell me it was adjacent to this. It was vertical to this. It was alternate interior. You tell me the relationship with what other angle. Okay, so go ahead and find 3, 5, and 6. What was the measurement for angle 3? Can anybody tell me? Isabel?
96 degrees.
Yes, ma'am. And why?
Because it's adjacent to...
Yep. Is it? Yep, adjacent to angle 4. What about angle 5? Addison?
I got 84 degrees because it's alternate interior.
Yes.
Angle 4.
Very good. Alternate interior to angle 4. Perfect. Now, I did have someone earlier say 84 degrees because 4 and 1 are vertical, and then 1 and 5 are corresponding. They said that, which is technically true, but to me, I'm just going one step. If I recognize alternate interior, it only takes one step. All right, what about angle 6, the last one? Angle 6. Anybody have angle 6? Angle 6. Anybody new besides my 2, 3? Angle 6. Maddox?
84 degrees?
No, not 84. So what's the other option? There's only 2. 96. Okay, it is 96. All right, did anybody catch why, Kyla?
Because 3 is
Yes.
vertical to 2, which would make it 96, and then
Yep.
2 is
Yes.
uh,
Corresponding to 6. Okay, so she said 2 and 3 are vertical, and then 2 corresponds to 6. That is correct. If I'm looking for only one reason, 3 and 6, we set it up here. What are 3 and 6? Alternate exterior. It was kind of like right under our nose type thing. Okay, so it's 96 because it's alternate exterior to angle 3. All right, and if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 3.1.